All right, welcome back to the show. At this time, we are joined by Tyler Bence. He is a Vanderbilt commit for the 2021 class, and he stars at Huntsville High in Huntsville, Alabama. Welcome to the show, Tyler.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, we appreciate you taking some time and being with us, and we want to talk a little bit about your upcoming season for Huntsville High. But before we do that, we want to talk about your commitment to Vanderbilt and your decision to play for the Commodores. And we just want to start right there and ask you, what was about Vanderbilt that made you know this was the place that you wanted to continue your academic and athletic career?
Well, Vanderbilt offers everything that I wanted. I wanted to play football at a very high level. I wanted to get an education that was best and like top class in the country and around the world. And I just wanted to have a city where whenever football ends, I can go out and sell my brand. And what Coach Mason and all the coaches sold to me was football's going to end. And then I knew that, and it started like driving into me. Like, we were going to prepare you for the next 40 years, not the 4 years. So hearing that and just thinking about and just processing all that and praying over it, it felt like that's the best decision because I get to play ball in the SEC, which has always been a dream of mine, and then get the best education.
Absolutely. And I don't mean to sound like a broken record because I know that I've said this before on the show, but to me, Vanderbilt should be a prime location for many recruits to look at for the simple fact that, from a professional perspective, you're going to have every opportunity in the world to put together tremendous tape for NFL scouts because you're going to play against the best competition week in and week out. And on top of that, and I think Coach Mason and the staff said it best, what you just said really resonated. It's not about the next 4 years, but the next 40 years. And I really believe that Vanderbilt's a place that, listen, that degree can carry you anywhere you want to go in life.
Yes, sir.
Once again, we're talking to Tyler Bence, Vanderbilt commit for the 2021 class and a star at Huntsville High. Now, I've got to tell you, prior to turning on the film, I wasn't that familiar with you. But what I found when I turned on the film is a player who loves to disrupt the backfield. Last season, in just 10 games, you registered 11 tackles for loss, 7.5 sacks, three forced fumbles, two fumble recoveries, and even a touchdown on one of those recoveries. And so, my question for you is this: with all the disruptions that you caused last season, what are some of your goals for the next season?
Well, I just want to be the best teammate and leader that I can be because there's going to be a lot of our team's to be young this year, and then we don't have that big of a senior class. So I need to step up in the role and be a bigger leader than I've ever been before to help my team get prepared for the season because we have a tough schedule this upcoming season. And then I just want to be able to take one step forward from this past season and just up my numbers, up my play harder, be more conditioned, hit harder. I just want to take one step forward from this past season.
Absolutely. And I have no doubt that you're going to continue to build on the success that you've already had there at Huntsville High School. Now, one of the things that I really like about you is your versatility. You're the kind of player that really excels at Vanderbilt and especially under Coach Mason because you have the athleticism to play defensive end, but you also have the frame that should carry enough weight to be able to play defensive tackle as well. Have you heard anything about which position you might be playing when you arrive in Nashville?
Well, I really haven't sat down with Coach Roof because the two times I've been up there, he's been on the road recruiting or he has some family issues. So I really haven't got a chance to sit down with Coach Roof yet. But when Coach Tarver was there, they were talking to me to be like a 4-eye. So whatever defense Coach Roof puts in, I played from a 3 tech to a 5 tech, 4-eye, head up four. Whatever's best for the team or the best lineup for me to play against whatever team we play that week, I can put on.
Absolutely. And I have no doubt that that versatility is going to allow you to play earlier because of your ability to play basically any position on the defensive line. Now, I want to ask you about your recruiting process because we know that in recruiting, relationships are key. And you have spoken in the past about your relationship with Coach Javon Hay as well as Coach Tim Horton, who were a big part of your recruitment. And so, my question for you is this: what kind of relationship have you been able to build with those two coaches?
Well, me and Coach Horton, we've gone back to my freshman year. While he was at Auburn, he started recruiting me to play fullback at Auburn. So, and then he moved to Vanderbilt my sophomore year. So, when he moved to Vanderbilt, that's when I can finally start talking to coaches. So we just started talking daily, and he started like sending me letters, and we just stayed in touch, and that really helped building the relationship and getting the close and commitment. And then with Coach Hey, I met him on the junior day in the spring of my sophomore year, and then me and him just hit it off. And then he invited me to come back for camp, and I went to camp, and then we he I love the way he coaches, and I guess he loved the way I played. And then he offered me, and then since then we talk every night. We text. He tells me about his family. I tell him about my family. He's just a big part of. He's a huge reason why I committed to Vanderbilt.
Once again, we're talking to Tyler Bence, 2021 commit for Vanderbilt and star at Huntsville High School. Now, Tyler, I do want to talk a little bit about Coach Mason and the relationship that you have with him. But prior to that, I want to ask you about this coaching staff because it seems like your experience has been much like what I've heard from other recruits. And that is that even though there have been some coordinator changes, this staff as a whole really puts a priority on the player and building relationships with players. And has that kind of been your experience that it has that family atmosphere when you're being recruited by Vanderbilt?
Oh, 100%. They
Absolutely.
put the safety and all that of the players over anything. So they want to feel like family there.
Absolutely. And I want to talk a little bit about Coach Mason because a lot of times, as a media member and as fans, we really only see one side of the coach, and that's pretty much the professional side, the politically correct side. That's what we get most of the time when we deal with coaches. However, as a recruit, you get to see them on a much more intimate level. You get to have them in your home. They talk to your parents, they talk about your future. And so, my question for you is this with Coach Mason, what has that relationship been like, and what has been your impressions of Coach Mason?
He's awesome, very energetic, high passionate, and that's what you need as a head football coach. And then he's a straight shooter. He's gonna tell you what you want to hear, and he's gonna tell you what you don't need to hear. And that's the kind of coach that's gonna help build programs and build relationships. And so me and him, we have a good relationship. We're both very high passionate and very energetic. So I just think once I'm able to get back down to Vanderbilt, once this coronavirus calms down and the NCAA allows recruits to go back on campus and coaches to travel, it's going to be exciting to see the relationships I continue to build until I get there.
Absolutely. And I know with the coronavirus going around, I know that has limited a lot of what you're able to do right now, and it limits a lot of what preparation would be if this situation wasn't going on. But I do want to talk about some of the things that you want to work on and some of the things that you want to improve on before you arrive in Nashville and become before you're officially a Vanderbilt Commodore.
I want to lead my team past the first round of the playoffs this year, and then I want to break the my school's sack record that's held by my family members way down the line. So I just want to go in there, wreak havoc, and lead my team to the playoffs.
Absolutely. Once again, we're talking to Tyler Bence from Huntsville High School in Huntsville, Alabama, and 2021 Vanderbilt commit. Tyler, we have a lot of Vanderbilt fans that listen on the radio and a lot that watch on Roku television. So, can you allow our listeners that are wanting to follow your career know where they can follow you at on social media?
On Twitter, my handle is Tyler Bence 44. On Instagram is Tyler Bence underscore or Tyler Bence 62.
All right, Tyler, appreciate so much you taking some time and being with us, and we're looking forward to following your college career. Any final words for Vanderbilt fans?
Anchor down.